Hey, what's up? 6 here. Today I'm going to be doing a review on the HTC One M7. And yes, this is the exact same one from my red T-Mobile HTC One M7 conversion um, tutorial guide type thing. Whatever that video turned out to be. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just going to be doing a review on the phone itself. What I think of the phone and my overall opinion of it and why I'm no longer using it and the reason why I'm actually making this video right now. Actually, I sold this phone on eBay. So before I actually ship it off, I just wanted to give it a review and what I actually think of the phone. I use this phone personally on my secondary line for I want to say 6 months, 5 to 6 months, somewhere around there. Or from the release day that this phone was released in Utah on T-Mobile USA, in Layton, Utah anyway, till the day that I actually received my iPhone 5S, which was the day I uploaded that unboxing video of my 5S. So anyway, enough of the bullshit, let's just get into it. So obviously it's a red HTC One M7. It's currently the only overall red perfect T-Mobile HTC One M7 in the entire country. As far as I know, I can't exactly confirm that, but as of right now, this is the only one that I know of. I haven't seen anybody else do it except for one other person that bought my old back off of eBay also. They just put it on the back, but otherwise I don't know about the front. But yeah, so this is obviously a 32 gig. That's the only option T-Mobile offers, aside from the fact that they only offer silver, which is why this is red. And I also have the Google Edition 4.2.2 ROM running on this one. Specs, I'm not going to really go into specs too much other than the fact that it has a quad-core processor. I forget the exact name of the processor, Snapdragon something. I don't really give too much of a shit about that. The phone works, and it works reliably. That's all I really care about. Unlike some fag droids and fag boys and stuff like that get into specs and stuff like that, I'm not going to do that. But it has a quad-core processor, 4 ultra-pixel camera, which is 4 megapixels, but bigger megapixels, I guess, 3 times the size, I guess is what it's compared to. A front-facing camera, 2.1 megapixels, which is actually really impressive. I really do like that. And, dual speakers on the front with HTC Boom Sound and Beats Audio. Beats Audio is one of the biggest pluses for me as far as Android phones go. HTC is currently the only company that offers Beats Audio. And I know this sounds like I'm going into specs, but I'm just talking about features. So let's just stick to that. But Beats Audio, for those of you who don't know what Beats Audio is, it's kind of like an equalizer for the phone. It's not really anything that's built into the phone. It's a software-based equalizer. What it does is it cancels out more bass so that you can't hear the bass as much. Shit, mouth's all dry. But you can hear more of the music instead, like the actual song, not just bass all fucking day long or whatever. It cancels most of that out so you can actually hear the song and enjoy the music more. That's kind of Dr. Dre's thing with Beats by Dre and stuff like that. And it's heard best with Beats headphones because in a way Beats headphones kind of puts a little bit of the equalizer in there. It just works better with Beats Audio and Beats by Dre headphones because they're both meant to do the exact same thing, just with the sound quality all around. But yeah, I guess with Beats headphones, it's best heard on either an iOS device or an HTC Beats Audio enabled device. Otherwise, the software that comes with this stock is HTC Sense 5, which I kind of got bored of. I do like HTC Sense, but I do like stock Android a little bit more, which is why I have the Google Edition ROM on here, and that's why it's still on here right now. The reason why it's still on 4.2.2 instead of 4.3 is because 4.3 takes out all of the reasons why I want the Google Edition ROM in the beginning. So, things such as the HTC button logo thing lets you use that. It is a button. That's a little capacitive touch key button thing. And also the functionality of the camera. In 4.3, there is no camera. I mean, the camera application is there, just the stock camera, but it does not work. You open it up and it just does not work. Obviously on this it does, but whatever. And I don't like the stock camera either. I think it's actually kind of shitty, to be honest. So instead I use the third-party Sense camera, which gives you all the same functionality of the the stock Sense camera, except for the fact that you cannot access your gallery. I think there might be a setting for it, but I don't care enough to look for it because I don't use this anymore. But anyway, that's what I use for the camera. Everywhere else, such as like the Google keyboard that obviously comes with the Google Edition ROM. Let's see. Really like the Google keyboard. Really nice, smooth, and overall I like it. Also, the phone application, which you will probably end up using a lot more than anything else on the Google Edition ROM. I just like the display of it. Nice, big, bright blue buttons and stuff like that. Looks pretty cool. Cool story. Very cool story. Then, of course, all the rooted applications such as Wi-Fi tether and stuff. That's really the only thing I actually use the root for, other than the Google Edition ROM and being able to flash ROMs and stuff like that. I use a TWRP on this one, but that's with the root. But let's go back into what comes with the phone. Let's go with these speakers. So the reason why I like these, oh, cool, something shipped. The reason why I like the speakers on this so much is because, it's dual speakers on the front. If you're watching a movie or something like that, it really comes in handy because you're not hearing only one side of sound when you're watching a movie, which can get kind of annoying. It's easy to get used to because that's on just about every single phone, with the exception of some Android tablets and, well, this phone. And also, if you're listening to music or something like that, if you set your phone down and if you put it vertical or portrait or upside down or whatever, you're going to hear music the same way all the way around. And also the fact that they're on the front instead of the back is a huge plus, because something like a Galaxy S4, which actually, by the way, has very, very terrible audio quality all around in every aspect. We're not talking about Samsung in this video though. We're talking about the HTC One. But with the speakers in the back, usually on a lot of phones, audio is not really the most important feature. With this one, that's one of the most important features. But on most phones, with it on the back, you can't really hear too much because all the sound's going that way. And if you're watching a movie and you're trying to be quiet because maybe some people around you are like sleeping or something like that, if you're in barracks or something like that, then maybe you just want to keep the sound to yourself. And if you don't have headphones, that can be kind of a hassle with a speaker on the back. With this, you can turn the sound up a little bit more. You can hear the sound a little bit more. And you won't have to worry as much about bothering too many people that are around you if you're just trying to be kind of more private about it. And because the sound's coming towards you from both ends. So audio quality is great. I'm going to go ahead and play a couple songs just so I can show you. This is being recorded on an iPad mini Retina, so I don't know if you can really hear any of the quality on here, but let's go ahead and find something to listen to. Let's do this. This is turned up all the way, by the way. Let's go ahead and bring my iPhone 5S into the picture. Let's go ahead and compare sound quality. The fuck? Okay then. Let's see. That's kind of annoying, but okay, whatever.
Faccia discreta, faccia di scroto, con giovanotti in macchina pompiamo la mia moto, verso l'ignoto, vestiti Yamamoto, in arrivo un maremoto, proseguo a nuoto. Faccia discreta, faccia di scroto, con giovanotti in macchina pompiamo la mia moto, verso l'ignoto, vestiti Yamamoto, in arrivo un maremoto, proseguo a nuoto.
So, obviously, the HTC One blows the iPhone 5S out of the water as far as speakers go. The reason for that, I do have Beats Audio enabled right now on it, so you can hear the sound a lot more clear. I mean, they're both pretty good, and if you use either one, they're both pretty damn loud, but overall clarity comes best out of the HTC One. So let's go ahead and, let's see, what else? Okay, let's go ahead and play both of these side by side. So yeah, overall clarity comes out of the HTC One a lot better than the iPhone 5, 5S, or whatever. I mean, it sounds great on the iPhone, but just done better on this. So, one up for the HTC One. Now, also, as far as like music player options and stuff like that go, I'd say the iPhone does kill the HTC One in that aspect. Only because you get a lot more options with the iPhone, such as third-party music players, like Beats music player or something like that. What I found on the Google Edition ROM is you only get Google Play Music, or whatever the fuck that application is called. But it's the Google Music Player, and I really, really don't like it. And I can't really find any decent music players in the Play Store. So, but otherwise, music quality is great on this phone, and I really do like that about this phone. Otherwise, oh yeah, stupid IR blaster that I never use, and that's in the power button. So also, let's go back to picture quality. I know this review is kind of all over the place, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off because you can't really see too well. But back to the camera on this. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this lens off because there's some fingerprints on it. Now, some issues that I've actually had with the camera on this is low light. If I take a picture in the dark where there's a little bit of light, I'm trying to take a picture of like a city view at night or something like that, all the black usually shows up dark burgundy red, and it looks really, really bad. Luckily in that, there was only one case where that actually happened, but luckily I had my iPhone 5 with me, and I took a picture. Blacks came out black, the yellow and whites came out yellow and white, for like the lights in the city and stuff like that. It came out really good on the iPhone compared to the HTC One. But during the daytime, if you're taking pictures of like a flower patch or meadows or hills or whatever's outside in broad daylight, the 4 ultra pixel camera on this really makes the pictures pop out. I don't have any that I can actually show you right now. I can put into the video, but I can go ahead and show you some stuff in my gallery. I guess, let's see, that's where most of my pictures are. So like here is here's my iPhone 5. If you, I'm gonna go ahead and focus in on this. Now, the video quality will make this look kind of orangish or whatever, but looking at this in person on the phone itself, the reds really pop out, and it looks really, really vibrant red. Now, I did also compare this to my iPhone 5S, which if I can find that. So, yeah. So in the video, this is probably going to look a little bit orangish. Actually, I'm going to turn my brightness up because the brightness is down. Yeah. So in each aspect of each picture, they're better in their own ways. Overall, I'd say the HTC One captured a lot more of the colors. I mean, close up, actually captured quite a bit more detail than I expected than the iPhone 5S on this particular picture. But I mean, on the iPhone 5S, it does look somewhat more clear, but on here the colors just look more vibrant. So each are great in their own ways. I mean, with the iPhone 5S, Apple did kind of steal the HTC camera in almost every aspect, such as the slightly larger pixels. I don't know if any of you caught that in the 5S keynote or anything, but they did amplify the pixels a little bit on the 8 megapixel camera, as well as the slow motion camera, which is found on the Droid DNA, and I think on this one too. And also the burst shot feature, which is done much better on the iPhone, but still a stolen feature. But honestly, I'd say it's a fair trade since the HTC One does share the exact same design as the iPhone 5 and 5S. Now, most of you will not agree with me right now, but if you compare a silver iPhone 5 or 5S to a silver HTC One M7, look at the back side by side, you'll see the obvious similarities right there. I mean, this is gold and red, so a lot different there. But on a silver HTC One M7 compared to a silver iPhone 5 or 5S, they look exactly the same, especially that chamfered edge, which kind of is a dead giveaway there. But I'll leave that up to you. Go find out for yourself. Believe me or not, that's just me being honest. But otherwise, overall, this is an awesome phone all around. If you are using an iPhone right now and you want to try Android, this is the phone you want to go with. You do not want to go with any other phone but this one. The reason for that, if you're used to an iPhone, you're used to dependable functionality, not having to worry about your storage being lost or anything like that. Something like with the Samsung anything, Galaxy S3, S4, Note 2, Note 3, Galaxy Mega, Galaxy whatever the fuck it is you're looking at, or round, or there's too many Galaxy phones to count now. But otherwise, if you're someone who keeps a lot of shit on their phone, don't go with a Samsung phone and expect everything to stay on your SD card if you use SD cards, because Samsung phones are terrible with SD storage. Actually, any phone that is SD capable, I try to stay away from personally, just because SD storage is not in any way at all dependable. My personal experience between 13 Galaxy S3s, 7 Note 1s, 7 Note 2s, 3 Galaxy S4s, and 1 Galaxy Mega. That's not all the ones that I've owned, but that's the majority of them over the last year and a half that I've owned. All of them had the exact same issue where it would randomly unmount the SD card, and it would tell you to restart the phone in order for it to read the SD card again. Restart the phone. Most of the time it was okay, but some of the time I'd actually lose data such as pictures or videos or movies. Pictures are the biggest thing for me because I have a 4-year-old daughter now, and at the time when I noticed this issue, she was 3, and when you have a kid that young and you take pictures of him, you kind of want to keep those pictures. And a lot of people actually report similar issues with Samsung phones specifically, that they have 1,400 photos on their phone on their SD card, and all of a sudden they only have like 1,100 or 1,000 or something like that. That's kind of a huge deal. Where I don't see this issue is in iPhones or HTC phones. Mostly because the majority of HTC phones don't take SD cards. And that is one thing I really like about both of these companies. No SD storage whatsoever. And I have 64 gigs to play around with, which is really useful. 64 gigs on a phone seems like a lot, but I mean, it's 64 gigs. I use a lot of shit on my phone. And then on AT&T's network in the US, you get the option of a 64 gig or 32 gig. On all other carriers in the US, you only get the option of 32 gigs. But still, 32 gigs for most people should be enough 25, 26 gigs that you can actually use out of the 32 gig, and on the 64 gig, I believe you get 54 to 56 gigs. So for most people, that's more than enough. For me, that's just enough. I mean, on my iPad Mini Retina, it's a 128 gig, and I actually need that because I don't have any more room on my 64 gig. But yeah, as far as data storage and storing stuff on a mobile device, HTC and iOS devices are the only real way to go with that. So if you're going from an iPhone to an Android phone, go with the HTC One. Trust me, you will not be disappointed in any way at all. Whether you choose to keep HTC Sense or you choose to put the stock Google Edition ROM or something like that. If you like HTC Sense, try out Revolution HD. Gets rid of all the carry bloatware. That's just a suggestion from me personally. But otherwise, overall, really satisfied with this phone. But I do like using iOS better just because I'm used to it. I've been using it more over the last 5 years than I have Android phones altogether. And I just get more out of iOS than I do Android. Now, my iPhone 5 is just more customizable. That's a different story in and of itself. And I'll let you keep your own opinion about that because you'll just disagree with me no matter what I say. This is Joe Broken 6.1.2. Does a hell of a lot more than any Android phone ever could and never will. But that is just me. But stock iOS, I'll agree with you completely. But the only reason why I switched from my HTC One to my iPhone 5S is only because I use my 5S a lot more over Wi-Fi than I did with the HTC One altogether with service. And I actually enjoy it a lot more. But that's just me. But overall, the HTC One, sickest Android phone ever to be released, ever, period, hands down. No competition whatsoever. Every other Android phone in the world compared to this one is a complete piece of shit. Well, except for the HTC One Max, minus the SD storage on that. But other than that, yeah, this is probably hands down, in my opinion, the best Android phone that's ever been released. Great job, HTC. Really appreciate the fact that you actually give a shit about your design and quality of your phones. But otherwise, comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 6tag0. I know this review is kind of long, 22 minutes, looks like 23 about. But hopefully I covered just about everything on this phone. Except for like specs and shit like that. But anyway, comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 6tag0. And if you have any suggestions on future videos, let me know. Hit me up or whatever. If you decide to leave a comment, make sure you deselect also share via Google+. If I see your notification in my Google+ thing, then I will block you. This applies to anyone and everyone, and I'm sorry if this happened to you. But otherwise, comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 6tag0, and see ya.